morning. Welcome. Welcome to the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living. I am so glad that you're able to be here with me today. We are looking at a brand new day, and today's talk is all about containing your destiny. It's called You Create Your Destiny and what that means to us in Science of Mind. Welcome. We are still, as you know, secluded in our homes, and I'm coming to you today, Reverend Martha Quintana, from the Rio Grande Center, and my home, it is Casa Cresley Quintana, and now is the time for us to be putting together our thoughts in the most beautiful ways. As we will see a little later today, Ernest Holmes asks his protege, Bill Hornaday, can you bear the consequence of your thoughts? Can you bear the consequence of your thoughts? And so on this beautiful day, I want to say for all of us, yes. Joining me in service today, even though you can't see them with me, our tech team. We have Kamatara Johnson across the way. She'll be joining me a little later at 10:30 on our Zoom in our social hall. And also across the river is our very own brilliant tech sound person, Annette Martinez. She's helping today. And usually Tammy Lambert helps too, but today she is on retreat on Zoom. So this would be her ministerial school retreat. And so she is doing that on Zoom, and we wish her well because we know that she is already a magnificent minister in the mind of God. Also helping me are the practitioners who are holding high watch. I want to have a shout out to Julia Washington. She is my constant companion. I have other high practitioners who are doing high watch with us too. We have 22 practitioners here at our center, and our practitioners, these are people trained for 4 years in the art and skill of treatment and spiritual counseling. So as we go through this time together, if you find shadows coming up, and inevitably they are, because this is the time, as we've talked about before, this is the time when sitting by ourselves, all of those thoughts we thought we would, well, I'll think about this later. Now may be that later. So if you find shadows coming up, please go to our webpage, find a practitioner who would be, and I know that almost all of our practitioners would be willing to sit with you and pray with you through this time of need. So thank you for being here with us today. So what we teach the science of mind, is the study of life and the nature of the laws of thought. It's the study of life itself and the nature of the laws of thought. The idea that we live in a spiritual universe, that God or spirit is in, through, around us, and that this presence is a loving source of all good. Most importantly, every man, woman, child who lives in the universe is significant to the Creator, and our doors will be forever open to all. We have a mission and a vision here at Rio Grande Center, and our vision is connecting community through spirit. And today, as you can tell that is happening, we are connecting this community through spirit. And our mission is to recognize that we each have an individual desire, an inherent desire to be that person we've come here to be. And the best thing we can do for each other is to become that person. We can do that for our families, for our community. And what we can do in return is to support other people in becoming that God person too. So thank you for being with us today. In order to get started, I will do an invocation. So, excuse me. knowing there is only one light, that this light beams out everywhere, faster than we can even measure it. We call it the speed of light, but we know that as it enters the speed of spirit, that it goes even faster. And in this speed of spirit, all is created, for all life comes from this. And from this light comes life, and from this life is absolute creativity. And in that, inherent in it, is love, joy, happiness, grace, beauty, truth. In it, all is contained. And so I call it today, I call that light and know that it is the creator itself. I call the light and know that as I call it, that every creative aspect of my being is already here, has arrived for all time. For even last night, as I danced with the creator, so did each person who hears my voice. And as I know this grace and beauty and peace for myself, I know it for everyone who can hear my voice. For each person here is part of the whole. And each of us are whole, perfect, complete. It is in that I speak today. It is in that we share today. It is in all of that life is good and life is perfect and whole. So knowing each of us is blessed, this time together is blessed, I call that good. And so it is. Amen. Thank you. I'd like to remind you today that right after my talk at about 10:30, that we will all retire to our Zoom and have our social hall. It's a lot of fun. I had a great time yesterday seeing all of your beautiful, or last week, sorry, seeing all of your beautiful faces, all of the goodness that is in that room. It's a good place to be. So that happens at 10:30. And if you don't have the Zoom links, last week we had to go to more secure measures because of some of the security issues the Zoom platform is having. So what we did is sent out to all the people that we knew come into the Zoom room the information. So that was the password, the passcodes, all of that. And that happens at 10:30. If you do not have it and would like to join us in Zoom, please email Annette at rg at riograndecsl@gmail.com. That's riograndecsl@gmail.com. And she will make sure that you have the Zoom link to come into the social hall with us. Thanks for being here. I love our topic today. You create your own destiny. I create my own destiny. Ernest Holmes was a master at this. And so he challenged us, and I would say even challenged, gave us the opportunity to discipline our thoughts to becoming that we want to be. So before my talk, I'd like to start with a spiritual reading. And this is from Meister Eckhart, who was a mystic in the Middle Ages, in the 1200s. Meister Eckhart, he says, "To see as God sees. It is your destiny. It is your destiny to see as God sees, to know as God knows, to feel as God feels." How is this possible? How? Because divine love cannot defy its very self. How is this possible? How? Because divine love cannot defy its very self. Divine love will be eternally true to its own being, and its being is giving all it can at the perfect moment. And the greatest gift God can give is God's own experience. The greatest gift God can give is God's own experience. Every object, every creature, every man, woman, and child has a soul, and it is the destiny of all to see God as God sees, to know God as God knows, to feel as God feels, to be as God is. To be as God is. And that's from Meister Eckhart, and it's called To See as God Sees. I will post this a little bit later on our Facebook page at Rio Grande on Facebook, so that if you would like a copy of this or you would like to read it for yourself, I'm more than happy to have you have this. Ernest Holmes, at one point, was speaking with his protege, Bill Hornaday, and he said to him, "Can you bear the consequences of your thoughts? Can you bear the consequence of your thought?" Because Hornaday in that moment was saying to him, "How can you make this work? You want me to start my own series of Sunday talks." Hornaday had been a missionary. He grew up as a minister's son, and he too became a minister. He was preaching for his father at a really young age. And then he went off to become a missionary in China. And when he went off to be a missionary in China, he stayed with a Buddhist family. And he said he learned more about Christian-like behavior from the Buddhists than he had from his own experience up until then. And what he had appreciated about the Buddhists in that moment was that they were into the experience of God. And that set him, as he arrived back into the United States, on a different trajectory. He went into business, building children's toys. They were ant farms. And so he did that. He became very successful. He said he started his business, got married, had children, had the big house on the hill in Altadena, California. And then he wasn't happy. He said he could feel inside of him this kind of urge to do something different. He didn't know what it was. All he knew was that he was unhappy. And so he began to look around, and a friend of his had told him about this guy, Ernest Holmes, who was giving talks in Beverly Hills at the Wiltern. And so he went and he sat there and he heard for the first time what it's like to be able to use God in a practical way, to use the energy of God in some practical way. And he started coming back again and again. And somehow Ernest Holmes heard about Bill Hornaday. And so Holmes began to court Hornaday. He said, "I have a feeling about you. I think that you could do this work." And Hornaday said, "I don't know. I don't know." And initially he said to him, "I'm really happy doing this work as a business person." But his business was beginning to fail right then. His business was beginning to, he'd made a big mistake. They used the wrong paint on their ant farms, and it was killing the ants. So he boarded up his ant farm business, and he went to work back as a minister. It was right then that he began to understand, as he worked closely with Holmes, the current of his thoughts. Whenever he expressed doubt, Holmes reminded him, "Can you bear the consequence of your thoughts? Can you bear the consequence of your thoughts?" And you see, here's what it is that we each have a trend of thoughts that bring about a current of events. We have a trend of thoughts that bring about a current of events, and these thoughts are what attract the situations to us. Because if you think about it, here we are, these beacons receiving, so we've talked about this before, these sending, receiving beacons, And of all the billions, infinite number of thoughts and situations that are going on around us here in this moment, why is it that we are in certain events and not in others? Why is it? And there have been studies since the late 1920s to say, why is it that we focus on this and not that? What is going on? Why is it for some of us that we'll be focused on negative? Why is it positive? Why is that? And Holmes answers the question in this article. It's from the book, It's Up to You. And he says, it's because we have a trend of thoughts that lead to our events. A trend of thoughts, not just one thought, but a trend of thoughts. Where are my thoughts mired? If they're on this, going this way, then it's what leads to my state of mind. Because remember that this goes from the internal to the external. There is nothing external happening that we are not playing into internally. So what is it that we want from our lives? There is a trend of thoughts that lead to a current of events. These are what are attracting these events to us. It sounds simple, but it allows us to decide what current of events we want to have in our lives. Why is it that some of us attract certain things and other of us attract other things? Why is that? And Holmes says that we begin to look at the idea that there is nothing outside of us that is happening. So this is particularly poignant right now, because what's happening is that we have this coronavirus. We are told that there is a coronavirus. We must suit up, show up, have masks and gloves. And it's made many of us afraid to even leave our homes. And it's not to say that coronavirus isn't out there and we shouldn't take precautions, but these thoughts that we have either lead to our health or they lead to our illness. If I am in fear, so fearful that I am neglecting my health, then I set myself up to be unhealthy. If I am taking all of the precautions to be healthy, I'm eating well, I'm sleeping, I'm exercising, I'm maintaining an attitude of gratitude. I am out. I am here in my home being me, reaching out and speaking to people that I know need to hear. Then I am promoting this attitude of gratitude. It's important. We create our destiny through the current of our thoughts, the trend of our thoughts that leads to the current of events. So what is it that I need to be thinking? And because it's a trend of thoughts, it doesn't get reversed. Like you can't just slam it into reverse. You have to shift it over so that it's something else. It's something new. So Holmes says, if you tell me about the beauties of some mountain scene I've never experienced, I get from you a word picture, but I do not have the same thing in the same way that you have it. It is now yours, and when I experience it, it is mine. Why, then, may we not feel justified in believing that the universal mind is at this moment all around us and within us, and we wake up to a perception of its presence? It wakes up to us. It embodies us. The experience that we're wanting to have in this time and this place is ours to have. And even though someone may tell me about something that's going on out there, and I do not have to will it to experience it. I can will the mountains. Oh, what a beautiful thing. Somebody says, I went on a mountain and this is what I experienced. My friend Lisa, I love listening to her stories for that reason. Other people, I love listening to their stories for that reason. But if I allow someone to instill in me a fear so deep that now I have to experience that too, that's equally valid. It's my trend of thoughts. And as we know in this lifetime, that this creator, this light, this life, this law doesn't play favorites. It's whatever I'm thinking and however I use this law of life that allows me to create that which I'm looking for. He says, it is not a matter of whether we call God the spirit or mind or the creative principle or the universal mind or the heavenly Father or something else. It doesn't matter what we call it. One thing we must learn is that it does not matter what we call anything. The only thing that matters is that we have the right idea about the things to which we have given a name. What is it that we are naming in our lives? There is a trend of thoughts that creates this current of events. Can I bear the thought? Can I bear the, the thoughts that I am having, the consequences of the thoughts that I am having? And he says we must not overlook what we term negative thoughts, thoughts of hate, of lack, of jealousy, of greed. Creative law takes these and gives them back to us multiplied. Undoubtedly, we do not like this. We are perfectly willing to concede that we help ourselves somewhat by uplifting thoughts. The creative law cannot refuse to fill the form that our thoughts give it. It does not know good or bad. It knows only to multiply and return to us that which we create in our thought. We cannot hinder law. So whatever it is that I'm thinking, whatever it is that I'm thinking is what's coming back to me. Do I stay mired in thoughts of lack or woe is me, how terrible it is? Do I feel how terrible I feel? Oh my God, what if, what if, what if? Or do I take a deep breath and say, right now, I have everything I need. And because I know in this moment I have everything that I need, I have enough food, I have a roof over my head, I have people I love and who love me. I have a community I love and who loves me. How grateful I am for this in this moment. And that attitude of gratitude just wells up inside the body and it becomes who we are. And so we have to decide, what thoughts do I want to bear the consequence of? What thoughts do I want to bear the consequence of? And finally, Holmes says, every time, and this really struck me as very timely right now, is he said, every time we say that our environment is against us, we are cursing it and cursing ourselves in our relationship to it. Every time we say that our environment is against us, we are cursing it and cursing ourselves in our relationship to it. Let us erase any thought of hate, the tear of the wheat, the devil grass of the lawn. Let us pull it up and leave only thoughts of right action. Let us bless our environment. Let us bless our environment. Visualize it as ideal in thought and imagination. We should mentally create an environment which is more like that which we feel will make us happy. We should create an environment which we feel will make us happy. The existence of life is from within and never from without. There is a world that we are creating. And yes, we are living in a difficult time. Yes, we see people around us that are having a hard time. What it means is that from inside the wellspring of our own life, that eternal wellspring of our own life, that we have to bring these thoughts of happiness and goodness to the forefront, that we might share that with others. And instead of allowing the fear to overcome us, we allow the happiness to overcome them. And so it is time for us to do that. And he finishes with a little final thing. He says, we should convince ourselves that it is as important to comply with the law on the unseen side of life as it is to abide by law in the manifest world. Maybe we have been unconscious creators, so let us not condemn ourselves. So don't curse yourselves. We have been unconscious creators. Let us not condemn ourselves. When we perfectly understand the law and work with it, we shall be able to bring into our lives the good that we wish. Let us accept this power with love and gratitude and start to create a more wonderful destiny for ourselves. Let us accept this power with love and gratitude and start to create a more wonderful destiny for ourselves. So this week, bless yourself. Look inside of yourself and know that what you are doing is perfect, whole, complete. Thank you for being with me in this talk. And we have a couple more things. Namaste. It is our prayer time, and I would invite all of the practitioners, wherever you are, all of the ministers, wherever you are, to stand with me in a circle of consciousness around the group of people that are now present with us, the ones that are called our spiritual community. As we go into this prayer, there is one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. It is the life of everyone on this call. It is the life of every practitioner, every person, everyone in the world. And I know wherever this life arrives, it arrives in its completeness, whole, perfect, complete, peace, joy, happiness. And each of us in this moment unify with it so completely that anything unlike love, anything unlike life now falls away, never to return. For truly each of us are part of this. I affirm and declare for each person here and everyone who can hear my voice, I affirm and declare that each person is blessed. If there be negative thoughts, that they are driven out by a blessing so beautiful and potent that all that is left is this moment of peace, the peace that surpasses all human understanding. All that is left is this moment of grace and of good, of joy and of beauty and truth. It is a beautiful day, and I'm grateful for it. Grateful for this time, grateful for this place, grateful for all of it. So knowing that this life is good and all is well and each of us are blessed, I simply say, and so it is. Thank you. I'm so grateful you're here today. We are quickly coming to the end of our time here on Facebook and going to Zoom. But before we do, I would like to ask that you support our Rio Grande Center. Our whole congregation is supported solely on the contributions of our congregation. There is no one outside of us who is contributing at this time. So if you would like to contribute, please do. See, I don't know if you can see this. I'm holding it up. Please, you can text from your telephone this number, 505-207-3010. Or if you prefer to use PayPal, you can go to our website, which is rgcsl.org, and press the donation button. So either text 505 and text the word give to 505-307-3010, or go to rgcsl.org and click on the donation button. And I know that Annette will also put this information into the chat, so that if you would like to donate that way, please do. All right. Well, that is all we have time for here today. And so if you would like to join us in Zoom, please do. Again, if you don't have the link, please email riograndecsl@gmail.com, riograndecsl@gmail.com, and Annette will get you the link so that you can join us in what we are calling our social hall. So thank you for being here again today. I am so grateful that you have been here and that you continue to be here with us. Oh my gosh. I miss seeing your beautiful faces in person, and I know that we're going to do it again. But in the meantime, come and join us in the social hall. So have a fabulous day, and I know that I will see you here in just a few moments.